it's great to have you here for this episode. Today, we're diving into something that's, well, kind of behind the scenes, but super important. How development projects actually get funded.
Yeah, it's one of those things we don't always think about, right? But without the right financing, a lot of the progress we see just wouldn't happen. So we're looking at two big players, the private sector and NGOs.
Exactly. Both are crucial for development, but they work in pretty different ways. The private sector is all about businesses and enterprises that aren't run by the government. They're owned by individuals or groups aiming to make a profit.
Right? Like your local shop, a tech startup, or even a factory. They manage themselves independently and compete in the market. And what's interesting is how they drive rapid economic growth by creating jobs and producing goods and services.
Yeah, and they also promote innovation and infrastructure development. Plus, private sector jobs often come with better salaries and chances for career growth compared to public sector jobs.
That's a good point. And they're also a base for attracting foreign investment, which can really boost a country's economy.
So when we talk about private sector financing, we mean money coming from private sources, like owners, loans, or investors, to fund projects. This can be through loans, shares, or direct investments.
And this financing supports both big investments, like building factories, and day-to-day expenses. It's pretty flexible.
The benefits are pretty wide-ranging. For one, job creation. Private businesses are the main source of employment worldwide, which helps reduce poverty.
Uh-huh.
They also bring new technologies and know-how to developing countries, which boosts productivity. That's called technology transfer.
And big companies often support smaller ones, SMEs, through partnerships and financing. That helps local entrepreneurship and builds value chains.
Plus, many private companies are adopting responsible business practices, like reducing carbon emissions and promoting fair labor standards, which benefits society and the environment.
I like that. And then there are public-private partnerships, where private firms team up with governments and NGOs to deliver essential services like healthcare and education.
Exactly. Private companies also respond quickly to consumer needs, improving quality and lowering prices. Competition really drives efficiency and innovation.
But it's not all smooth sailing. Investors sometimes hesitate because they don't understand low-income markets or nonprofits. Projects can be complex or seen as risky.
Yeah, political pressures and unclear goals can also deter investment. Sometimes subsidies or guarantees are needed to make investments attractive.
So to promote private financing, governments can create laws encouraging investment in underserved areas. Partnerships with nonprofits can reduce risks, and financial incentives help attract investors.
Sharing information about market opportunities also builds confidence. And collaboration between public and private sectors is key.
That's a solid overview of the private sector side. Now, what about NGOs? How would you describe them?
NGOs are nonprofit, voluntary groups independent of governments. They focus on humanitarian, social, or cooperative goals rather than making profits.
They range from big international organizations like the Red Cross or Amnesty International to local community groups like women's associations.
NGOs have grown a lot because more open societies and democratization have created space for them. Plus, they provide reliable information and analysis where governments may fall short.
And globalization and technology have made it easier to organize and fund NGOs. Also, when people lose trust in government effectiveness, they often turn to NGOs.
Their objectives include organizing and empowering marginalized people, fighting injustice, raising awareness, providing services like healthcare and education, and promoting women's status.
They also act as watchdogs against corruption, which is pretty important.
NGOs do a lot of things: running education programs, organizing savings groups, developing income-generating activities, building local capacity, mobilizing communities, and advocating for policy changes.
There are different types too. Operational NGOs that implement projects, advocacy NGOs that promote causes, and humanitarian NGOs that provide disaster relief.
Plus, they can be charitable, service-oriented, participatory, or empowering, and operate at community, city, national, or international levels.
One big advantage is that NGOs can reach places governments can't, and they're often more cost-efficient and flexible.
They have strong grassroots connections and can innovate and adapt quickly. Plus, they're usually committed to long-term sustainability.
But they do face challenges: limited financial and management resources, small-scale scattered projects, sometimes lack of transparency or legitimacy, and coordination issues.
Right, and they can be hard to regulate and sometimes duplicate efforts.
Still, their role in development is huge. They fill gaps where governments or markets fail, represent grassroots voices, raise awareness, bring expertise, build local capacity, monitor projects, and partner with other stakeholders.
So, to wrap up, both private sector financing and NGOs are essential for sustainable development. The private sector drives economic growth, jobs, and innovation.
While NGOs ensure social inclusion, advocacy, and community empowerment. Together, they complement each other and help build better societies.
Yeah, it's a balance of money and efficiency on one side, and heart and community connection on the other.
Makes you think about how these forces shape the places we live, doesn't it?
Definitely. Thanks for exploring this with me today.
Thanks. It's been great. Until next time.